Ooh, this is gonna be fun, interesting, sarcastic, and offending. Hey there everyone, Hitesh here, and I have got a small list with myself. These are 9 FAQs that I regularly, on a constant basis, I get them, and I'm gonna answer them as honestly as I can. And this is gonna be offending for a lot of people. So if you're that type of people, here is your cue. Just leave the video right now, right here, and we both will save some of the argument that is about to happen in the comment section. Because if you put up so much of the truth, it's either is going to be loved or either is going to be hated so much. So let's get started. This is going to be fun. Let me start with the question number 1. XYZ college is number 1 in ranking. Would you like to come to our college, or should I take admission in that college? Please don't ask me these questions. Every single college in India, and it is abroad, is actually being marked as number 1 by XYZ or ABC or something else. All of them are number 1. Nobody is number 2. So just get the fact that every single university and college is just number 1 in some criteria. Please don't ask such questions to me that which one is good for computer science, which one is not. I don't have much of the strong opinions and feeling about it, but I know one thing, all of them are number 1. Oh, next one is fun. I got a PICO degree in the XYZ and blah blah question. Let me tell you one fact, that only colleges and universities are allowed to give degree. All the other things that you see, like PICO degrees or teeny tiny degrees, these are just certifications. Get the fact, you cannot call yourself graduate by doing this teeny tiny degrees. Actual degrees are different. They happen in colleges and universities. Like them or not, they are. Calling yourself as graduate from these degrees, no matter how hard the process is, it's not really a fact. It doesn't really look good on your profile, and you are not being seen as a professional just because you have this tiny degree. So don't just misuse the word. These are deceiving marketing. They happen a lot, but don't just fall for them. Oh, this one is my favorite. This is moreover a thought. And I personally believe, very strongly I believe this, that Netflix should give me a certificate of completion because I have finished up watching Money Heist and various other seasons as well. Why am I not getting a certificate of completion for that? You need to understand that certification of completion just got started with all the good intention that yes, somebody has completed the stuff and now you can start asking the question on that subject matter. The intention was really good, but the way how it floated around in the market is absolutely bizarre, and I don't think nobody is going to judge you based that you have plethora of certification of completion. Certifications of achievement are a very different thing. Things or certification which you have achieved by passing an exam in which a lot of people got failed to, then it's a completely different sector. On top of that, I know various organizations which are there which can actually pass all of the examination which are considered as comparatively very tough, including AWS and some of the Red Hat certification, Cisco certification, certified ethical hacking certification. So right now, in 2020, everybody knows that certificate doesn't really is a validity that you know the subject really well. You have to prove yourself a one step further. But again, I'm still on the fact and on the side that Netflix should give me certificate. Ooh, third one, this actually comes up a lot. Hey Tesh, why don't you give me lifetime access? Let me tell you about, again, on the deceiving side of marketing. Lifetime access and unlimited, there is no such thing as like that. Just try to ask yourself a question. How can I know that what is going to be your age? How can I give you access of lifetime to anything? Surely, I can put up in my policy, say that, hey, I believe that the technology, which is this or XYZ, is going to have a lifetime of 3 years. So we are considering 3 years as just the lifetime of this technology. So here we go. I can give you lifetime access of this course. But I don't really like these kinds of deceiving marketing. Is it completely legal to put these things in policies and deceive like this? Absolutely. Google and Facebook and other big giants have been doing this for years and have been selling our data. So these kinds of marketing do happen, but please don't ask me about lifetime access, unlimited this, unlimited that. There's no such thing like that. There is always a cap. There is always a deceiving policies of that. I don't like to play such games, so don't ask me. Oh, this one is also related. Why don't you give job guarantee in your courses? Your courses are good. And I've seen many such posts. If you have been following me on Instagram, you might have seen I post tons of screenshots about people chatting me that, hey, your course helped me in grabbing this job and grabbing me this internship. See, what you don't understand is the courses that I'm providing are definitely valuable. They have good amount of knowledge in them, and you're going to learn a lot in them. And variety of other instructors are doing exactly the same. Putting up a job guarantee will definitely result in a whole lot of sale count in my platform. But is it good? I don't think so. Nobody can guarantee for the job. It's a process. Some company need you. They will evaluate you based on your knowledge. You may get the job, you may not. So I don't like to put up these job guarantees. I don't really like these deceiving things. And if you fall for a job guarantee marketing statistics or techniques, it's your fault. I'm nobody to blame that, and I don't think so. I'm going to be offering this job guarantee anytime in the future. So please don't expect this from me. Oh, this fifth one is actually quite recent on my LinkedIn, and this is coming up. I don't know from where. Can you give me a referral? Now, a lot of people have started to believe that referral is the only way to crack an interview or job in these big companies or even in the small companies. And the point is, somebody just sends me a request, says, hey, congratulations on your work anniversary, and the next is, can you give me a referral? I have given referral to enough of the students in the past, and I sometimes do. But I only give referral to those people who simply says, I know them personally, not very personally, but I know them. They have been learning from a variety of resources from last 2 years or 3 years. They have been in touch with me. And I have seen they have worked enough really hard. They are talented. They have applied for 5, 6, or 10 interviews, got rejected. Then I can surely lend you a help or something that you deserve. And I do that sometime. But asking me, can you give me a referral like that? I'm not going to do that, because the referral that I make to those people, they trust in me that if Hitesh is sending up somebody as a referral, he probably is in a good need and he is a deserving candidate. So my referral has a value. And don't expect that after this video you can just ask and show me the profile and your work you have done and I'm going to give you a referral. It's not going to happen. It doesn't work like that, at least for me. So stop asking that. Ooh, this one is favorite. I actually did that on Instagram as well. Post interested in the LinkedIn comments below. Recently, I did it on Instagram. I just made a mockery out of such statements on the LinkedIn. I said, hey, blah, blah, blah. Literally, there was a blah, blah in my exact comment, exact word, blah. And I said, hey, just DM me that you are interested and post up your email. And within 5 hours, I received over 200 messages all sending me without even reading the proper content. Such things don't work. They are only there on LinkedIn to expand the reach. So things like post interested in the LinkedIn comment section is an utter garbage. Stop doing that. Ooh, this one is very debatable. Why don't you offer your courses and everything for free? Now, this is the biggest statement of the hypocrisy, because you want me to offer everything for free to you so that you can learn those skills and charge companies thousands of rupees and dollars. And I should do that all for free. I don't know from where this comes up. I can understand as a kid you can do that. Like everything should be free because your dad pays the bill, your mom cooks the food, you have nothing to do and nothing to worry about. Eventually the maturity comes. I don't blame you for that. But what really adds up there, that sometimes people send me messages and say, this is my personal project, can you help me in that code? I say, sure, it's going to be this much of the fees. Some people say, hey, this is my client work, can you help me in figuring out this code, or can you help me in putting up this payment gateway? I say, sure, this is going to be the fees. And they say, oh, Hitesh, you are so money minded, why can't you help a student? Like, this is your own personal project, this is for your own personal gain. Why should I do that for free? I have a team. I can deploy that team onto your project and they can solve all the issues if we know it, if we can do it. But again, this is a bit of a hypocrisy that you want and expect everything from me on free. Luckily, I don't have much of that audience, thank goodness. But otherwise, this is really a fun topic. I probably will make a dedicated video on it. This is going to be fun, absolutely fun for that. Moving on. Oh, this one actually comes from some of the experienced developers. The only statement that is here is, read before you sign. And this is not just about the jobs, this is about everything that you do in life. If you sign a bond for the company and you are there and you are stuck there, you don't like it, it just is up to you. You have signed it, that means you're gonna grab it. If you're signing up a document to access any course for free, definitely you are giving something in return and you have to give it because you signed the document. You have read that thing and then you have signed it. If you didn't read that, it's up to you. You're gonna be facing the consequences. And based on this, you have signed the things and somebody put up a court case on you, then it's going to be definitely very tough for you to find the next job because you have a pending court case because you didn't comply to the documentation that you signed up, or you have a court case because of some piracy issues or anything like that. It's going to just ruin your career. So whole advice is read before you sign. Oh, this last one actually keeps on happening all the time, and it says, "Hey Tesh, what's your opinion about XYZ drama on YouTube?" See, the drama actually happens a lot on YouTube, and it will keep on happening in the future. It has happened in the past. It is the way how new channel actually grow up in the YouTube community or YouTube arena. So my point is, whether there is A party or B party, I don't really know which one is right or wrong, because if the drama would have been actually real and very serious, there are courts, there are a police where you can file the complaints and you can do a court case. But no, they don't do it because that's not profitable. That's actually loss of money and value and a whole lot of things. But on YouTube, it's actually a money-making business. Whether A party right or is B party right, the viewers are paying for it by watching their content. So I don't have any issues with these dramas. They're pretty fun. But I have a point to make. I usually don't see any drama on the channels which are very creative, which know how to put up the content. Great content creators like Casey Neistat and Peter McKinnon. We don't see much of the drama there because they know and they have worked really hard to bring that audience, and they are working really hard. If they don't like anything, they either go through the legal channels, or if they know that, hey, this is something wrong and I can do better than this, they just do it. So that's my whole point. Definitely, I watch some of these dramas, guilty as charged. I watch a few videos on them. But really, involving in them too much, just saying because, hey, I'm doing all this justice. All this justice, why is it all the time being done by these small new channels that are trying to grow? Why not this justice actually comes from some big names like Peter McKinnon or maybe Casey Neistat or other big creators? You know what? One big creator actually do that a lot. T-Series and PewDiePie. But eventually, who gained up in that? Both of them. Oh, that's actually fun, and these are the only FAQs that I'm having. If you have liked this or you agree with any of the point, please share this video in all of your college groups, WhatsApp and all these groups so that they can also learn something from it. And if you liked it, let me know in the comment section. I have a little bit of more list that we can talk on this. I'll catch you up in the next one.